Hello guys, so yes, today we're gonna talk about something, at least I can guarantee you that this is gonna be a stoic approach to life, but not stoic as in the sense of that stoic way that has been viralized in the media. No, I mean actual stoicism, with the core values, distinguishing very well what you have control over you and what you have not control over, and living a balanced life based on the acknowledgement that most of the things come through your mind, because your mind gives meaning, and that meaning, things are not actually demanding for you to give meaning to them in the first place. So if you are prone to attributing negative meanings to something, maybe you should rather just leave it as it be. It doesn't need necessarily to be positive or negative, just observe it. That type of actual stoicism. And so, I just wanted to open this recording. I don't know how long it will be, probably 5 to 10 minutes. I don't want to talk longer than that, but we'll just talk about life and keep on going, maybe even shorter, because I'll be honest that talking continuously like this is kind of exhausting. So about 5 minutes, I'd say. But so there's a bunch of things we can discuss, because Stoicism as a way of life can be applied, to your life as a whole. And so it has dozens and dozens and dozens of applications. And I'm wondering, we can talk about socially speaking, you are your own person, you have your values, but at times there's various types of scenarios in which you'll be prompted to betray them in a way. You'll do things and you get rewarded for the things, and maybe later, let's say hours later, when you get home, then after reflecting upon them, you don't feel that much proud of yourself by having done that. But that at the time it felt like the right thing. Well, it could have been peer pressure, it could have been a bunch of things. But that by your core values, you wouldn't have done it. And so then you start wondering, okay, how can I then avoid situations like this? Because you don't want them to repeat. And that's when things get tricky, because you gotta develop the strength of mind to be able to resist their pressure. And that's the best way to do that is to first change your mindset, because that's where everything changes, because that's the only thing actually you can change. And so I would say that the very first thing to do is to clearly have defined in the head what you control and what you don't, and the reactions of people, how you're treated, how people see you, and how you'll be how you'll be able to move socially overall. That's not on your control, neither of these things. What you do can control, and therefore you should abdicate of analyzing and controlling them. Let go, that's not of your business. You're just filling in mind power with that, and it's not a stoic way to live if you want to be a person who follows stoicism. What you'll do is focus on what matters, which is what you can control, which is nothing but your reactions. That's what you control. And once you do this, things come actually easier. They not automatically become easier for eternity. It's just that your fight now has a clear way of being fought and a clear way for success. You just focus on yourself, you focus on your reactions, you focus on how you behave. That's what matters. You stop expecting things from people. Well, why? Because life owes you nothing, actually. Frustration only comes from the idea that in a certain scenario you expected something to happen and it didn't happen. But think about this. What if you stopped expecting X, Y, Z to happen? Wouldn't you get a burden lift off of you? Think about it. It's so much, you'll feel so much lighter, and that's the stoic way. So let's coming back, and we have 1 minute left, but circling back to the social gathering example, once you realize that the only thing you can control is yourself, you'll not want people to treat you a certain way, you'll not be included in a certain way. You'll just come from the principle that you are who you are, and you're going to behave as who you are, and the results are out of your control. And that in itself will transform things. Things will actually change how they happen, despite that not necessarily being your goal. And that's fine, that's how it should be. You shouldn't be seeking for that change. It will happen, but don't seek it. You seek to control and be yourself, because that's what you control. It's your response.